So guys, it's 5:30 and it's cold and I'm in my garage to come and start one of my workouts. The key with this workout is going to be that I'm going to show you some of the exercises that I use that I think can help you with your golf game. This first exercise is one that JJ specifically wanted me to do. So I've got one of the sides of the suspension trainer here on a fixed piece of webbing, and this one's got sort of like a strong TheraBand built onto it. What I'm doing is get the body at an angle from the floor, straight legs, and then I'm going to be opening up the thoracic spine and getting a bit of work in that scapular area, which will get me some stability. So it's a case of leaning back, and once you're in this position here, open up and letting the head rotate with it. So do this on both sides as 10 reps to get that equal amount of open in the back and work out. You might find that one side is easier than the other. So if you're wondering what this was a KO8 suspension trainer. So this has got all the TheraBands, etc. built into it. It's absolutely brilliant. I use it loads, but it's quite expensive. It's somewhere between 150 and 200 pounds, so it might really be quite a big investment for you. But there are ways that we can do things around that. So you can just get a simple band like this from Amazon. You know, it's sort of less than £10. It's really inexpensive. And you can do loads of exercises with these things. But what we're actually going to be having a look at is how we can start to help your golf swing, but at the same time, get you better for general life. You know, when we're stood at work, you know, either over the computer, looking at our phones, everything is getting that top of the thoracic spine bent over. So we're getting a really tight pecs and shorts. We're getting a tight upper back and weak upper back. Then what we're doing is the core's generally getting quite weak, the lower core. The lower back's tight. The front of the thighs are getting quite tight and the glutes are getting quite weak. So what I'm trying to do here is to combat that, to give me the best chance I can with my golf game, which I really encourage you guys to do. But also it's got to be good for general life. It's one of the reasons I put a stand-up desk in at work, so I can actually be in a position where it's good for your body, because being stood up all day is a great thing for your body. They also say that hanging from a position, so if you jumped up on a beam like I've got here at my garage and just hung, is a great thing to get your body realigned. Loads of people talk about this, so it's all about getting that body more aligned. That's therefore going to allow you to move as you actually could when you were a young kid, but with all the strength that you've now got, and then strengthening the areas that are weak and lengthening the areas that are tight. So this exercise, what we're going to look at is holding it, hands like this, thumbs out. Then what we do is we rotate it, so this opens up the chest, and we make it wider in here, and then hold it. So this is pulling the scapula together, so the top of the back, that scapula, the two muscles are being pulled together. I can feel the chest opening up, and this is really going to help you in terms of getting that open in the chest and getting that strength in the back. So you bring this back again, and you just do reps of these to get that feeling of opening the chest whilst also working the muscles in that top of the back. starting to get a little bit more warmed up now. Those 2 exercises there were all about making sure that I had sort of a cross pattern of movement, and the movement was very indicative of a golf swing in terms of some stability in that lower body whilst getting the rotation. So the first one was helping to stabilise with the right side of the glute while the band was pulling it offline, and the second one is that you've got to be able to push the band. So there are actually 2 different movements in terms of how the muscles function. One is resisting the knee being able to cave inwards, so it's actually really good for the arches of your feet as well, which can help your rotation in the swing. And the second one is having to push inwards to hold that foam roller in place whilst rolling. Now, moving here onto this exercise, which is a lunge, and this is like a classic exercise in terms of being able to work at powering your glutes. Now, I know loads of people are massive fans of squats. For me, because I train at home, I didn't really want to have a squat rack in my garage, and it's not that I didn't really think that the squats have, you know, a great movement. I just think that in terms of working for me for the sport and for my own body, I need to get the glutes strong, but I think it's all about the form. So I really like lunges. Other people like squats. It's all individuals what you like to do. So I've got a kettlebell here. So what you can do is to start off with the lunges. Can you just instantly, to start with, just holding it in your chest here, get yourself into the lunge position, and then just do straight up and down movements, which is all coming from the glutes. So the glutes are pushing you. What you don't want to do is make sure you're not falling forwards. So you're staying really nice and stable and centered. And then as you're stable and centered, you're just moving up and down. So it is the glute that is firing you on that vertical axis. That's what's getting that strength into it. Now, I really like these. I think they're brilliant. This is, for me, this is the hardest exercise I do. In terms of when I don't train using this wobble board and doing lunges, I notice that I find it a bit easier. When I first started using this, my legs and glutes were so sore that bending down to pick a ball up out the hole was absolutely agony. Now the reason that these are amazing is you've got this tiny little fulcrum here, and then you're stood on top of the board. Obviously the board's just trying to wobble everywhere, so this is trying to move in every direction. So the key is that what we've got to do is, I would start off this as grading it. You could do this without the weight to start with, of just doing straight up and down lunges, working at the glutes because you're on an unstable surface. So obviously just starting off with it like this is how I started it off, is get your balance to begin with there, get yourself into a lunge pattern, and then just working straight up and down. So this really is good because that surface is so unstable. You've got to work really hard. And then, once you feel comfortable with this, start to add this weight in. So, add the weight in now on the unstable surface, and this really has added another dimension to it. It's getting your core, but all the little muscles all over your legs, the glutes, the top of the thighs here, the back of the calf, the front of the calf, they're all working. Little muscles you don't even know exist work so much because of the surface that you're on. And then make sure that whatever you've done equal on one leg, make sure you do it on both. Now the key is try to be controlled with these movements, because if you're doing them really, really quick, you can use momentum and not necessarily do great form. This has got to be about having the form so that you're working the right muscle set, so you're getting sort of the right form, so you're working the correct muscles, and then you're getting the power through those. And on there, that unstable surface just makes it so much more difficult. Now I've got it all set up for the stability exercises. So first off, I'm going to jump on here on the Bosu. This is going to be a great exercise to help get that core engaged and get the shoulders moving at the same time, whilst also having to really stabilise myself. The reason I like doing it after the legs is the legs are pretty fatigued. Now my body's got to work really hard to be stable based off the fact that I'm tired, so I'm really going to stress all of those muscles. So moving into glute bridges. Now these are amazing exercise for absolutely everybody. Now when we're doing the exercise in a minute, I'm going to show you one of the massive correlations I see with people when they aren't stable enough or strong enough in their core, and what actually tends to happen. Now what I love about this exercise is it's got so much scalability. You can make it as hard as you want. So I've got the slightly heavier band here across my legs. You should start it off with no band just to start to find out what your strength is like. So for me, this goes up over the knees, so on the thighs out here. So jump down, so getting your lower leg as close to straight up vertical as you can, creating a straight line from the body up to the sky, and then putting your arms up. So this is the starting position. Now if you are weak, what you would find is that when you bring one of your legs up in the air like this, if you hold it for a moment, what will tend to happen is that you'll drop with one side of the pelvis or the other like this. So the pelvis tends to drop, which means that the glute here can't support that leg, whereas that leg should be able to support, so this glute should be able to support the elevated leg and hold it there quite comfortably, and then that would mean that you've got strength in it. So how I do the workout of this is start off here, arms up, and then I just do dropping each hip down to begin with. So I do 10 on either side, just simply dropping it and then pushing back up and just engaging through the glute, and feel like you squeeze the glute muscle a little bit at the top. And then do the opposite side. And again, this is just the first part of this glute bridge exercise for me, and having your arms up makes it so that you're only balanced on a little point at the top of your back, and it means that therefore you've really got to have some core engagement at the same time. And then what we do is bring the leg up and we do 10 straight up and down, so it goes there, push, and really feel the squeeze in the glute at the top, and trying to keep that elevated leg as still as you can. For me, after this, I go straight onto the Bosu and try and work the sides of the glutes on an unstable surface. Isn't it funny? Something as simple as a skateboard you can use to really get a great ab workout. You know, this is the equivalent of using one of those wheels to enable you to really engage that core, stretch out those lower abs, really working it. I've got the Wobble Board here. Now these are really inexpensive. They're probably one of the best workout things I've bought. They're just called sliders. They're about £4 or £5 off Amazon. They're absolutely brilliant. So I'm going to use these in a particular way now to engage my lower core, and I'm going to also do it on an opposite way where I'm moving my arms about, and all of this will work that deep core muscle whilst also getting me working in different planes of motion through my abs, which will help with the stability. So the reason this is such a tough exercise is on the wobble board, with it being an unstable surface, so you have to myself here and then bringing each knee in individual, doing sort of mountain climbers. So that there at the end, just adding in the cross section, really works the abs and the side of the glutes, and I just kind of get to a position, I try and do as many as I can on that until I start to feel like my form goes. So it's just about, you know, trying to maintain that form whilst also working at that core is going to be massive. So now what I'm going to do is opposite, feet on the unstable surface, hands on the slides. So I always finish the session off with that. That absolutely kills me every single time right at the end. It's working at that stability in the lower core, but obviously you've got to move the hands around on this. They're so good for you. And what you want to do is have loads of different core exercises, build them into your program, because your body's so good at becoming adaptable. If you do different exercises and you mix up the way that you do them, advancing them, you should then be able to get maximum benefit out of this for your routine. Always keep challenging yourself, trying to make it more difficult, and always remembering the core of making sure that we're opening up this chest, we're getting that top of the back strengthened, but also mobile, strong lower core, strong glutes, more flexibility in that lower half. These have got to be key for golf, but also going to help you generally in life. Should make a big difference to your golf swing. Hope you've enjoyed this little video series. Comment below if it's something you found interesting and that you've enjoyed. As always, thanks for watching, and talk with you again soon.